Hey there, how's it going? What is up, everybody? Irish Orangutan is back to pass along what you need to know to get better at Madden and grow your Mutt team. Enjoy the show.
We are back to talk about Rookie Premieres one more time today. As you can see over on the left side, we are done with 9 out of the 10 sets. Wanted to do a little changing of the guards here. We are going to trade in the Shaz collectible and get our 10 here. If you don't get those opened up right away, they will just go to your pack, so you can go and nab them there, so don't fret. You will be able to get them. And when you turn in that Mutt um, Master collectible, you are able to get one full rookie premiere, and that will be the last player that we will need to get. Something to throw out with that Shaz token: it is not if you just completed 1500 solos. I have checked that. I know of someone who doesn't play online nearly as much, and they were not able to get this. So that was kind of a bad day for them. But if you were able to play online and get your solos done along with those other marks that you need to get, you are able to get that Shaz collectible and get one rookie premiere. And we are doing that changing of the guard to get another middle linebacker for the Steelers. Shaz wants to come back, and I hope they can both play in that linebacking core together someday, but that might be a year from now. But with this, we will have all 10 put together, and we will have all 10 of these players on our team in this coming year. So that's pretty exciting, except for Baker, but we'll get into that mostly because he is a giant, but that is beside the point. Very excited about being able to get all these guys into these sets. Really did cost a good amount of my coins. Was able to get those two free ones. Did go through how you are able to get those. So we'll get into a little bit of the strategy and these 10 players and which ones you really should be going after first. So we are back in the binder showing off a little bit of those 10 guys that we were able to acquire today. Again, just quick rundown of the strategies to use. Mutt rewards, if you are a legendary tier, you will get 9 of those tokens. The Shaz, like I just showed you, you will be able to get 10. If you go through and knock out those solos, you're able to get 10 of the 92s and one rookie premier token. So that will be 6. So that will be a sixth of a player that you can add in. You will get one for logging in. I would advise going in and opening up those packs for these players to get those 92 and those random other cards that do come along with it. That is the cheapest way outside of just getting them for free or knocking out solos, obviously. Then going through your binder, making tokens, using the tokens that you had left. Thankfully, I did have quite a few of those. I did not use the ones that I made through the solos and a couple of the things back. I have used some of them to show in videos, but thankfully I did have quite a few of those left as well. Um, on and the last thing that you will need to do, because a lot of these are not repeatable, is go into the market and buy quite a few of those 92s. I've been using the companion app pretty much since I got home to knock out a lot of those. That is really helpful. If you are able to get these players in the 35K range, the 92s that is, you should be able to put all these players together with those free things and the solos for just under 5 million coins and get all 10 of these players acquired. If you're able to get them closer to 30K on average for those 92s, it'll be a little bit closer to 4.2 million. So it's really not that bad of a deal. Thankfully, I have some left over, so if I want any of those Ultimate Legends or if there's anything else I'd like to do with my coins, I will be able to use those up and not have to fret throughout the rest of the year. So I'm very excited about that. But I am going to get into those 10 players that we do have in front of us and do one of the top 10s for MUT 19 and getting ourselves leading into MUT 20 a little bit more all the time. But the first player that I would suggest maybe not getting, he'll be coming in at number 10 on the scale. What we're going to be looking at are these players valuable for your team next year? Really, these 99s you're not going to be using for very much longer. Any of them will be tremendous at their position. So if you're just getting them for 19, go out and get any of them, and they'll be able to stand out when you put a little bit of chemistries on them. So that's not that much of an issue, and I don't think that's what most people are concerned with. So I will be going into how valuable they can really be for your team in this coming year. One thing I did want to note as well, if you are looking in those sets, you can see what those overalls are going to be at the beginning of the year. They are mid to upper 70s. Kyler Murray was at 73 overall. Um, Someone else I wanted to note was DeAndre Baker was only a 70, just a flat 70. Nick Bosa 77, and I think Quinnen was a 78 overall. And looking at Josh Jacobs first, as you can see, he's not going to be the fastest halfback. When you really are just getting into the game and when these players are going to be the most valuable is leading up to February because that will be their last update in MUT 20. So with this particular player, he's going to be tremendous at running players over. So if we get like a Barry Sanders as what we had for Ricky Williams this year for the MUT levels, the MUT level master, excuse me, and you could match up Josh Jacobs with him and play tremendously. But if you don't have a lot of speed, especially at the beginning of the game, you're not going to be able to stand out quite as well. With the way people move in next year's game, the slower halfbacks might be able to play a little bit better, but in MUT, speed is always king no matter what. Coming in at number 9 is TJ Hawkinson. If you play a lot of 3 tight end sets, this might be a player you want to go out and potentially nab up. As you can see, his run blocking is pretty solid. So if you're playing 2 tight ends, running the ball quite a bit, this is a player that might be a little bit higher on your list. But if you are just running 1 tight end, probably going to be a little bit lower than someone like a Jimmy Graham or someone like that relatively soon. But if you're just being 6'5", he can catch a couple of those higher balls in the end zone for you also. Coming in at number 8 is DeAndre Baker. He is a little bit slow for the position. Honestly, a lot of the players that are ahead of him really are just standouts. And if you can get potentially 7 of these players, I maybe would cut it off at DeAndre. He is going to come in and play at a position that you need a lot of players and allow them to play well. As you can see, his coverage stats are going to be very solid, but with him starting out at a 70 overall, it's going to take a really solid set of upgrades to get him to the point where he's even up to the point of these other players, but he's going to be able to be your third cornerback for a long time when you just start the game. So something to look at in that regard, and they usually give younger players a little bit better speed compared to the older players, even if they might even be a step slower. So that is something to think about as well. Obviously, his play rec and zone coverage are immensely higher than they're going to be with him 30 overall lower. Coming in at number 7, and a player I would definitely try to go out and get, especially looking at his speed, is Darnell Savage. He is a little bit short at that 5'11", but a lot of people who were able to go out to EA Play have been talking about safeties being able to make a little bit more of those athletic plays that a lot of the linebackers are not going to be able to make. So if you're able to move him into a middle linebacker position early on in the year and he's able to go out and make quite a few of those plays for you, I really think he's going to fit in very well with Adrian Amos there, and they're going to do a lot of really good things together, and he's probably going to get a couple of solid upgrades. I don't want to really base these things on how frequently they will get upgrades. It's not always going to be based on how well they play necessarily. They might just be a master for a particular program or at least a key part to that particular program. So that is just something to think about. There will be a couple players higher up on the list that I'm going to point out. Probably will get upgrades, so that'll be something you want to consider, but the rest of them kind of a crapshoot. Coming in at number 6 for me is Nick Bosa. If you like the way that Joey Bosa plays, he's going to be a very good fit for you. I like my defensive ends to have a little bit more block shedding because they're going to be playing at the defensive tackle position more often than not. He does have very good speed for a defensive end, not upper echelon like say a Khalil Mack, but still 88 speed is very good. Again, considering he is a 99 overall, that will be considerably lower, but just comparing that with what the rest of his stats look like, he's going to be someone that's going to be able to get after the quarterback and maybe be able to stop the run a little bit better than his brother Joey. Coming in at number 5 is Quinnen Williams. This is someone who might get a few more upgrades just based on how he really can play, the comps, and just the way that he was graded coming into the NFL. He maybe should have been the number 1 overall pick, even though Kyler is a wonderful football player in his own right. Excuse me there. But I really think Quinnen will be able to come in and dominate and get those upgrades, but defensive tackles really get pushed out of how much they're really valuable very early on in the game. So really by November he might not be someone that you want to play, but if your no money spent, he is going to be a very good fit for you at that defensive tackle position. If you play a 4-3, which I do not, he is going to be a good fit for you there as well because he can fit that defensive tackle 2 position at the very least. Coming in at number 4, we have Devin Bush. The reason I have him so high is because I love middle linebackers that can absolutely sprint from sideline to sideline. A middle linebacker with 95 speed, understandably 99 overall card. Excuse me, I have been referencing that a couple of times, but those will be obviously significantly lower. But just the way that that is ranked up there, the way he's going to be able to fly around the field, he's going to be able to play like a safety at the middle linebacker position and be able to play for you day one, especially if you're running a 3-4. Coming in at number 3, Chris Lindstrom. Not the sexiest position by any means or player for your particular team next year, but someone who can be very valuable for your team, especially if you are not trying to spend a whole lot of money. These players aren't going to be necessarily the A tier, but if you are able to have someone like a Lindstrom come in and save you money at that position throughout, and you can go out and get the best players at other positions and just have him kind of fit in, I think that's going to be a tremendous ability for your team to succeed. Coming in at number 2, we have Kyler Murray. I do think he has the potential to get quite a few upgrades. Him and Quinnen are just 1 and 2 in my mind in that regard. He is going to be a fast quarterback, so at the very least, he can come in and run some option plays for you if you don't like his accuracy. But the way that they're giving him deep accuracy, he's probably going to hit quite a few of the thresholds that you really want him to. They compared him and Haskins, which I don't think is right, and this isn't going to cross over perfectly, but in their regs, they both have 89 throw power, so obviously they are respecting what Kyler can do, and I feel as if they're going to give him a lot of upgrades, and he's going to be in a similar path to what Baker Mayfield was this year, but probably with another upgrade somewhere in there. And coming in at that number 1 spot is Marquise Brown. Something that I'm basing that off is how expensive Tyreek Hill was all of this year and how valuable a very fast wide receiver can be. If he comes in and has 89, 90, 91 speed, something in that range, you are going to be able to throw streaks for him and get those solos knocked out that will be able to really benefit your team and really boost your team up. And if he has 1 or 2 breakout games where Lamar is able to get him the ball on a couple of those streaks, he's really going to get a nice boost and his speed's going to go up speed is going to go up immensely. They really did handicap speed for a while this year, so he is going to be a standout probably until December for your team if they give him any respect whatsoever. So that is the list that we have for you today. I'm very excited about all these players playing on my team in this coming year. I was going to say this year, but I can't even say that that's true. I'm definitely going to get at least a couple of games in with them and see what I can do with them. But we are coming into the last little bit here of MUT 19. I will be bringing out a few more videos, of course, but those will mostly be leading into MUT 20. I will be going over Ultimate Legends for the last time this weekend for MUT 19, and we'll be going over what I hope they can bring to us for Ultimate Legends in this coming year. So that's what we have for you today. I do wish you all the best, and I hope you are able to at least get those top 7. If not, if you are able to kind of cut it off at 5, that's really not a bad spot either. Definitely vary some things up, but if you're able to get those top 3 and fix up your offense, that's really going to be able to help you out immensely and get through those first solos that you're really starting to figure some things out. But that's what we have for you today. I wish you all the best, and I hope you have had a wonderful MUT 19.
Thank you for checking into the Irish Orangutan channel. Keep coming back for more Madden knowledge. There will be consistent videos up every week, so make sure to subscribe and hit the bell button to see them all. Come by Twitch to engage and hit me up on Twitter at Irish Orangutan. Take care and much love, everybody.